guys, what's up? And welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be me reacting to your period horror stories part 4. So I am doing this for the 4th time and I'm honestly so excited to continue with this series on my channel. I know that you guys really enjoyed this series. So as you guys probably already know, I am doing this series every single month. So this part 4 is the December part of this series, and the next month I'll be doing a part 5. And as always, usually on the 1st of the month that I'm like doing this part of this series on, I put a post on my community tab. So I did make a post for this month on December 1st. So on December 1st, I posted onto my community tab, hey guys, happy December. Here's the post for you guys to leave any crazy, embarrassing, insane, and or funny period horror stories that you have for me to react to in a part 4 of my reacting to your period horror stories series. I'm doing one of these every month, as you guys know, so this is the post for December. You guys left a ton of period horror stories, so I am gonna try to get to as many as I can. Also, if you're wondering like what I'm reading off of, I have my computer right here. That is what I'm reading off of, in case you were wondering why I was like looking down and reading off of something. I also wanted to tell you guys that this is actually my last 2021 upload. This video is going up on December 29th, and that falls on one of my upload days, so this is my last 2021 upload, and I just wanted to wish all of you guys a happy new year, and just thank you so much for the wonderful year that 2021 has been for me and for my YouTube channel. Since I pretty much started my YouTube channel in 2021, this has just been such an amazing year for me, being able to make videos for you guys. So I just wanted to wish all of you guys a happy new year, and thank you guys so much for all of your support on my channel. By the way, I will also have parts 1, 2, and 3, like all the parts that I have done before, linked down below for you guys to check out like after you watch this video, or you can watch them in order. And yeah, I really don't want to talk anymore. I want to react to your period horror stories for the 4th time, so let's get into the video. So as always, I'm not going to be going in any particular order. I'm just reading all of these period horror stories off of the order that they appear on my community tab. So here we go, let's get into the first period horror story. It was my 3rd period, and it was like July, I think, and I was on vacation with my whole family in Spain. We had been planning to go horseback riding for a month, and I went with my uncle, all my younger cousins, my grandpa, and my grandma. When we got there, my cramps were really bad, and I was like dying of pain. They gave me my horse, and he was white. Is this going where I think it's going? My grandma went to the bathroom and I felt wet down there. I asked my uncle if I could use the bathroom, and he said to wait until we got back to the house, but we had just started horseback riding and we were an hour away from the house. When I got off the horse, my pants were blood-stained, and so was the horse. That is one of the funniest period horror stories I've ever read. I have never ever heard a period horror story, like any period story where you stain the horse. My question is, how did they clean the horse? So basically one day on the 2nd day of my period, literally the worst day, I'm so with you on that, I was at school and I got too nervous to ask to use the bathroom because my period makes my anxiety worse and whatever, and I just got really scared and I don't know why. Anyway, I had worn 2 pads to school, like one on top of each other, very smart, so I thought I would be fine, although in geometry I knew I really needed to change that pad because it was like on the verge of leaking. I was just way too nervous, and by then I only had 20 minutes left in school since I had to leave early for an orthodontist appointment, so I decided to wait it out and then just take the top pad off when I got to the orthodontist. But when I got there, I got too nervous again, and the second I sat down in the chair for my ortho to start working on my teeth, I felt it. That is one of my worst nightmares, getting your period like that and like just having that happen like when you're in an exam chair. I laid in the same position for an hour and a half with my legs while she worked on putting stuff on my teeth for my Invisalign. I hadn't anticipated the appointment to take that long. Then when she was finally done, I got so scared to get up because I didn't know if I leaked or not. I was just super paranoid the entire time, but guess what? I didn't leak. But when I got home, I used the bathroom straight away and unfortunately did ruin a pair of underwear. I think if you were there any longer, it would have leaked like through your underwear onto your pants. You were probably like in that like little phase, like when it's, but it hasn't gone through to your pants yet. I'm so happy that you didn't leak. I love this period horror story because it's like, I get it. Like when you're on your period and you have to like act normal in front of people, like your orthodontist for example, but like you're dealing with a period horror murder scene down there. It was my first period and starting off strong. I was wearing really pale jeans. I know where this is going. I was a little moody at school, but my genius self wouldn't put 2 and 2 together. When I got home and went to the bathroom, I was shocked. The only pads we had were overnight pads, of course, so I had to use one. Not to mention it was the start of the basketball season right before our first game. I'm not sure if anyone noticed the blood on the gym floor, but I sure did. I can't imagine leaking on the floor in public. I think I would actually die of embarrassment. I was sitting in my last class when I just felt something weird down there. My period had ended the day before, so I thought it was nothing. I still went to the bathroom just to make sure, and when I looked down, it looked like a murder happened. Luckily, I was wearing a long black hoodie, so you couldn't see the stain, but that still haunts me till this day. I am so happy that I have never been in person at school while having my period, because I got my period during the pandemic. Comment down below if you can relate. And I was still doing online this semester. I'm probably going back to in-person school next semester, but like I've never had to deal with like a murder scene in my underwear at school. I am so sorry that that happened to you, but thank God you were wearing a It was like my 6th period. I was going to my cousin's house for an engagement. I had stopped my period a week before, so I was around ovulation, so I wasn't expecting anything. We got our bathing suits because they had a pool and wanted us to use it. Because I was around 13 days till my period was due, I was excited. I went to the bathroom and saw a brown discharge and thought, it must be fine, I'm just seeing stuff. Big mistake. I got into the pool and swam for around 20 minutes until I felt something on my bathing suit. Not water, my period. I started to freak out because blood kept surrounding me as I tried to rush out. Everyone was looking at me concerned. In the end, everyone was like mad at me because I ruined the pool and they had to re-add new water and drain it. They should be mad at you because like it's not your fault. Like it's not your fault at all, but they had to re-drain the pool. So I think it was my 5th or 6th period. The first night / 2nd day is the heaviest for me. By now you'd think I'd be smart and know how not to leak, but my head was in the clouds that night. I ended up going to bed in these short workout shorts with just a regular overnight pad and no towel under me, which is what I normally do. In the middle of the night, I felt super wet. I thought nothing of it, but then I felt my butt and realized it was wet too. My bed sheets were covered in blood. It leaked through my clean new sheets and my mattress. At 3 a.m. I got to go to the bathroom. At this point, I'm freaking out. I'm sitting on the toilet with my gross pad on the ground and stained clothes, off sobbing because I didn't know what to do and was too embarrassed to get my mama. I ran back into my room to grab clean clothes while trying not to drip blood on the floor and to not make too much noise. I ended up putting 2 overnight pads and a towel underneath me. This as well has happened twice, as the second time I didn't have the right overnight pad. In the end, my mom still doesn't know that any of this happened and thinks I have a light flow. I have no idea how I'm supposed to tell her. I ruined my mattress as well. This was so traumatizing, especially when you are half asleep. Hashtag worst nights of my life. I have actually made a whole video about the struggle of sleeping on your period. I will link that video right here, but this has luckily never happened to me before. Like even when I've been on my heaviest flow nights, it never leaks. Like I've always been like so close. This is like one of the worst like period horror stories I've read so far. Like I am so sorry that this happened to you. So it was one of my first periods and I didn't have a set schedule yet. I was with my friends getting dressed into our bathing suits at my swim club on kids night. I took off my underwear and there was blood. I started freaking out because my boyfriend was coming soon. My friend calmed me down and I went to go to the first aid room where I knew they had tampons, and I go to walk out of the bathroom and my boyfriend and his family are walking into the swim club. I go back into the bathroom and freak out again and run to the first aid room, grab a tampon and run back to the bathroom, try to put it in right and can't, so I just didn't swim that night. Did you like almost run into him and his family like on your way to get the tampon? I'm so sorry that you had to miss out on swimming though. I mean, that like really sucks and I totally understand. Like once I was on my period and my family was supposed to go swimming and like I just don't use tampons yet, so I couldn't go and it was like really sad. One time I was at ballet for a long day of rehearsals and I decided to wear a light blue leotard. I know where this is going already. And with no warning, that is when I got my period after ending my last one only a week earlier. It was only my 5th or 6th one, so it was really irregular, but I was not expecting it at all, so I had nothing with me. I ended up using toilet paper and wearing shorts for the rest of the day. The funny thing is that I have not even had my period for a year and I have started it at ballet 3 times, so that's fine. I used to do ballet when I was like a really little kid, but like the tight leotard, especially when it's like light colored. Even using the toilet paper, oh my god, why didn't you have a pad? Okay, so my period has always been irregular and me and my family went on vacation, but it was camping in the middle of nowhere. So I woke up on the first morning and there was a blood puddle under me. I had my own tent and I had nothing with me put on. That was like only my 3rd period and I was embarrassed to tell my mom. So later that day, my mom went to get something out of my tent and she saw the blood and she thought I got hurt and she started freaking out. Then I explained to her what happened. It was low-key funny though. I hate camping, let me just say that. But like if I ever went camping or like I was like in the wild for some reason, I cannot imagine getting my period like that. That would be so horrible, being somewhere like where you can't have pads. I'm a competitive swimmer and we went on a swim camp. We had a 5-hour bus ride to the camp. Halfway through the journey, we stopped for a bathroom break. When I went to the bathroom, I saw that my period had came. This was not my first period, but I didn't know it was coming. Oh god, that's the worst. I started freaking out, nearly in tears. Almost everyone was back on the bus already. I used toilet paper in the meantime, and then I went to go back on the bus, but then my male swim coach asked me if I was okay. I didn't know what to say, so I said,
I don't know, not really, it's never mind.
He then said, are you sure you're okay? I said very nervously,
I don't know.
I then ran back onto the bus, told my friends, but then getting off the bus, I had stained my shorts. I was so embarrassed, but only a few people saw, including my swim coach. I had no pads / tampons, so I had to ask my coach. It was so awkward. You had to ask your male swim coach for pads or tampons? Riding a bus and then standing your shorts in front of people, that is literally one of my worst nightmares. I am so sorry that that happened to you. It was my first period. I was 11 in 5th grade. I started it on Sunday heavily so I could not hide it anymore from my mom. On Monday morning I was going to school and my mom tried to give me some pads so I could change them at school, but I was so embarrassed with all that, so I didn't take any from her. Guess I didn't know what could happen. I went to school wearing one regular pad and at the end of the 4th lesson I felt weird. When I stood off my chair at the end of class, there was a bloody spot. I was terrified and stood with my back to the wall during the whole break. When I went to class from the break, the wall had blood bloody stain too. It was that heavy that it leaked onto the wall when you were standing against it. The whole lesson I was nervous if anyone could notice. As it finished, I asked my friend for her jacket and put it around my waist. Thank God she had it that day. I went for my coat super fast and ran home like crazy. When I get home, all my butt area on the jeans was messed up. I leaked on the back massively and even on the front. After that, I had leakage mania for years and I was always wearing bigger pads, always was checking my butt, and so my first ever period was super heavy and long, I think, but I never had them like this anytime again, thank God. Well, you certainly learned your lesson. You stained on the chair and the wall. That's really good that you're like now you'll be on the lookout for leaking. It was the third day of school after summer break last year and also the third day of my period. It was the first or second class of the day and I had horrible cramps. Once the class was over, I waited a bit for everyone to go out of the classroom, and when I stood up, I just felt the blood pour down. It continued pouring down my legs, and after just a minute or two, my light colored jeans were covered in blood all the way to my knees. Since it was summer, I didn't have a jacket with me to cover it up, but luckily one of my friends had a long brown jacket I could borrow. As I stepped outside the main school door, the whole school was standing outside. I'm pretty sure some of them saw it and I felt kind of embarrassed. You mean you were wearing like light jeans, okay? And then there was just blood? I would die of embarrassment. I am so sorry that that happened to you. Oh my God. My first period, and so I got a mole removed on my upper back thigh and it hurt really bad. Oh my God, I've gotten moles removed like that too. So I ended up just sitting around the whole day. I also had a video game date with my now boyfriend. Later, kind of after dinner, I started to get really sad and cold. My mom said I went into shock because of something traumatic that happened earlier related to the mole removal. I'm so sorry about that. So I just was sitting there on the couch with a crap ton of blankets on me. Also keep in mind that earlier that day I was having trouble going to the bathroom and I ended up having a UTI. I also kept seeing these weird red blobs that kept coming out when I went pee. I was super scared and thought I was going to die. But my mom reassured me and said it is just your period and that you are so strong and not gonna die. She gave me pads and it ended up only lasting a day and my body is perfectly fine now. I also gave my brother warnings, and now for women out there that will date him, you're welcome. I give my brother warnings like that too, but oh my God, that is a horrible period horror story. Like being on your period, having a UTI, just having had a mole removed and having like side effects from that. How did you survive that? So I was at volleyball as usual and I knew I was just about ending my period, but I hate wearing tampons, especially when it's on the verge of me not having to, so I didn't have one in and I went on my merry way to practice. We were scrimmaging 6-on-6 with some even on the bench and I was playing middle back, so right in the middle of the court, and I didn't feel it but apparently bled through and it dripped on the light gray court. Our setter realized, and in the middle of a rally she pointed it out to me. That I made eye contact with coach and made the sign for a timeout. So we walked off and I whispered to my coach, who was actually only 21, funny enough, what happened, and she had the other girls go and run laps for a second and wiped it up, and my senior bestie on the team gave me new spandex to change into. I still didn't put a tampon on, the damage was already done. I love my coach and my teammates, they are awesome. I love that everyone like rallied together to help you, but this is the second one I've heard where like the blood drips onto like the sport court. I play tennis. If that happened to me, I don't know what I would do except for die of embarrassment. Okay, so it was the beginning of 6th grade year and I was sitting in my first class. Our desks were pushed together and we had to do partner work, and of course me and my best friend chose to be together, and it was like the third period I ever had, and the other two I had was hardly anything, just spotting, and then we had to switch classes. I had bright blue jeans on and got up from my desk, and all the classes were in the hallway, and my teacher called me back in the classroom and said, have you started? And she made me go to the nurse, and I'm pretty sure like 12 8th graders saw it, still haunted to this day. So you bled through the bright blue jeans. Let's just take a moment to acknowledge of these bright blue jeans. I am literally so sorry about those jeans. See, the thing is, like, with your first couple periods, sometimes it takes a few periods for it to get heavy. I am so sorry that that happened to you. And in front of like 8th graders, like in middle school, like as a 6th grader, I am so sorry about that. Okay, so it was my third ever period. I was on the trip in the car going to a funeral. While we were driving, we stopped at Culver's. I went and ordered my food, and then I went to use the bathroom. You probably already know where this is going. Oh yes, I do. And I freaking got my period in a Culver's bathroom. Luckily for me, I was prepared and I was wearing my period underwear, and we were only 15 minutes away from the crusty hotel we were staying at. At the funeral, we were going to go swimming, which of course meant I had to put a freaking tampon in. I literally mentally prepared myself for the 4 hours before we went swimming to do it. Sounds like something I would do. Long story short, I ended up putting the tampon in. It was in totally wrong, but it worked. Later, I had to take it out, which felt extremely weird. In the hotel bathroom, there was no trash can for me to wrap it up and throw it away in. Me having 4 brothers outside of the bathroom did the worst thing ever. I panicked and flushed the tampon down the toilet. Says prayers to plumbing system. I am so sorry. Like, I just feel like getting your period when you're like traveling or like on the go, it's like honestly the worst. Why did you flush the tampon down the toilet? You're not supposed to do that. Oh my God. I've had my period for a while and I have always known to push your pad or tampon down the trash so that no one sees it. So one day I was cleaning my room the week after my period and I took out my trash. So I took out my trash bag with all the period supplies I used the week before, and when I was in the living room, the garbage bag ripped. I was mortified and had to clean my used products off the floor before anyone saw. That is so horrible. horrible. I am so glad that no one saw. Like, that would have been even worse, like if people were like in the room when it ripped. Oh my god, I am so sorry that that happened to you. And the last period horror story that I'm going to read is pretty long, so here we go. So I had gotten a tiny period the month prior to this one, so I knew what was going on a little bit. I woke up, changed my pad, big period, and I got a bit scared, so I went into my sister's room to chill out with her, and I felt I needed to change my pad again. So I went into the bathroom, changed the pad, and I started to feel a bit weird, so I put my hands on my knees, and in the middle of my upstairs hallway, I fell flat on my face and fainted. I usually trick my sister, so looking out her door, she said, "Sarah, get up, I know you're faking," and rolled her eyes. As she got closer to me, she could see I was a pale green color and ran to get my mom. My mom revived me and dragged me to our bathroom. I took one look at the pad and fell headfirst onto the bathroom tiles. The door was closed, so my dad tried to get in because he heard the crash and my mom trying to lift me and stuff, and he hit my head with the door. This is so funny. I'm so sorry for laughing at this though. Long story short, my parents ended up dragging me around the house all day and holding me every time I had to change my pad. I'd say I fainted about 7 times that day. Listen up everyone, if you are prone to fainting and are about to get your period, I'm not prone to fainting, but there was so much blood. Go to a period doctor and get medication for it. I'm now on period medication and I have perfectly healthy periods. Your advice is really good, but I'm sorry. This story... So you fainted, then your mom took you to the bathroom, dragged you to the bathroom, and then you fell onto the bathroom tiles. Your dad heard you fall and then opened the door and banged your head with the door. I am seriously so sorry that all of that happened to you. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. I really hope that this video was able to like entertain you. Thank you so much to all of the amazing people who submitted their period horror stories for this video, because obviously without you this video literally would not be possible. I had so much fun reading these period horror stories for the 4th time. I'm really looking forward to part 5. So definitely be on the lookout for my community tab post coming on January 1st for you guys to submit your period horror stories for the January part 5 reacting to your period horror stories part of this series. Also again, I wanted to wish all of you guys a happy new year, as this is my last 2021 upload. As I said, I hope all of you guys have had an amazing year, and even if you haven't, look forward to next year. There's always next year, and I'm sending positive vibes to all of you guys out there to have an amazing 2022. So yeah, before you leave, please like this video, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below, periods are horrifying. These horror stories that I read in this video have definitely proven that. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more of these parts of like this series of me reacting to your period horror stories. And I also do just so many other like period related videos, not just me reacting to your period horror stories. I have an entire period playlist on my channel. I will link all of the parts of this series that I have done before, like part 1, part 2, and part 3 down below in the description box for you guys to go check out if you liked this part, like if you haven't watched those before, and like this is the first part of the series that you have watched from me. And I will also link down below just some other period related videos and just other videos that I think you might like if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I love you guys. Bye!